Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to be talking about the film The Thing. No, unfortunately, no, not the 1982 John Carpenter classic. I'm talking about the 2011 prequel to John Carpenter's classic, also called The Thing for reasons. Anyway, I've recently rewatched this film. I am not 100% sure I know why, but I did it anyway. I've always been in the mindset that prequels or sequels cannot diminish what the original brought to the table. After rewatching the 2011 The Thing, I don't believe that anymore. I'm getting ahead of myself. First, I want to talk about some of the cons. I want to talk about some of the pros of this film. I'll give you a positive and negative review from critics, and then I'll give my final thoughts at the end. So let's talk about what this movie did well. Okay, and on to the cons. No, I'm just kidding. This film does a fairly decent job of expanding the lore of The Thing. And what I mean by that is we get to see the Norwegian camp. We get to see the events that transpired there. We get to see them discovering the alien spacecraft and the initial encounters with the creature. We also get to dive deeper into the aliens' assimilation process, and it introduces the idea that this creature cannot replicate inorganic material, which does become a key plot point later on. This film does a good job of connecting to the 1982 film, and we also get to see a lot more of the aliens' spaceship. The cast, they did a great job, I think, of portraying their characters, especially Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Kate Lloyd. But everybody in this cast, I think, was fantastic. There was not a single issue I had with anybody's acting at all. And it does, to its credit, it does build suspense and tension, even though we know the general outcome of the film. But if you compare it to Carpenter's The Thing with its tension and suspense, the 2011 doesn't hold a candle. But if we took that out of the equation, the 1982 film, the building of suspension and tension in this film is fairly well done. So for the criticisms, if you have ever watched this film, or if you've ever heard anybody talking about this film, you know the most common complaint. It's the CGI. Some of the effects are good. I'm not even going to lie. I did enjoy some of them. A majority of them they look dated. They look worse than the 82 version. They are less impactful than the practical effects of the original, and just less inventive, I think. The way the creature reveals itself in this 2011 film compared to 1982, they're way less imaginative. And my mind goes straight to the Norris creature. When the doctor takes those paddles and tries to jumpstart Norris's heart, and the chest opens and it crushes his arms and rips them off, and then the head splits off and turns into a spider thing and it crawls away. Oh my God. It's fantastic stuff. There is not a single transformation in this film that is of that caliber. And honestly, none of them even come anywhere near close to that creature. The only one that I enjoyed really was the two-headed monster that merged together. But again, that came from the 82 version of what they found at the Norwegian camp and brought back to their camp. So they had to recreate it in this. This film does not capture the same level of paranoia or isolation as Carpenter's version does. And it's kind of lacks any originality. It has a lot of the same beats of the 82 version. And finally, the story, it's a prequel, We know what is going to happen. We know the outcome of everybody in this Norwegian camp. So it's predictable, and it's less impactful when things happen. And it kind of robs us of the enjoyment of trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, he said about the 2011 The Thing, he says it's a competent thriller, but it lacks the visceral impact and psychological dread of Carpenter's film. Owen Gleiberman of the Entertainment Weekly, he was a little bit more positive. He said it's a solid, well-crafted prequel that expands the mythology of the original while delivering its own share of chills. So this was the directorial debut of Matthias van Heinigen, and he wanted a lot of practical effects. He pushed for a lot of practical effects. The studio had their hands all over this film, so much so that the director said that he will never work for another American studio ever again, and he has not since. He was not thrilled with how much the studio interfered with what he wanted to do, how much they changed everything about his film. And he didn't have the clout of a Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese to push back against the studio and tell them no. So apparently Amalgamated Dynamics was the name of the company. They're a special effects company. They created extensive practical creature effects for the film. Filmmakers initially intended to use practical effects as the foundation with some CGI enhancements. However, Universal Studios, Universal Pictures, they expressed concerns about the practical effects. They had a test audience come in, watch the film, gave mixed reactions. One of the issues coming from the test audience or the studio, and I can never nail down exactly which one it is, but their main concern was it looks too 80s. And the studio deemed the effects to be insufficient for modern audiences. So the studio mandated a significant overhaul, resulting in the replacement of many practical effects with CGI. This decision was a major point of contention, so as many felt the CGI was inferior and detracted from the film's atmosphere. I could not agree more. One of the issues that the test screenings brought up was the film's pacing and tone. So in response, Universal ordered extensive reshoots and re-editing, leading to significant changes in the film's structure and character development. Many scenes that provided character depth and suspense building were shortened or removed to accelerate the action and monster appearances. The studio also requested changes very close to the release of the film, meaning that the CGI changes were rushed. So not only did these CGI artists have to completely go in and cover up all of these practical effects with CGI effects, they had very little time to do it. So the film special effects suffered because of this. And honestly, it shows. So I was talking earlier about prequels or sequels kind of damaging a film, the original film. And there's not many of them that I can point to that I think do damage the original film, but this 2011 The Thing, I feel like does take away a little bit from the 1982 The Thing, and let me explain. So when McCready and the doctor show up at the research base of the Norwegians and find it completely destroyed, they find bodies, they find this big hunk of ice, and they find the two-headed monster out in the snow and bring that creature back to their research base. We have no idea, as an audience, we have no idea what has happened at this Norwegian research station. And that gives us a sense of wonder. It gives us a sense of dread about what they brought back to their station, what they are looking at, what the doctor is performing an autopsy on. We have no idea. But now, after rewatching the 2011 version, and you go back and you watch the 82 version, you know what happens there at the Norwegian base. So it loses some of its impact. It loses some of its mystery. And I don't like the fact that I don't feel like we need to fill in these blanks. I don't feel like we need a prequel for everything. I don't think taking a section of a film that is meant to be the mystery and then taking that and developing a whole film around it to show you exactly what happened there, I think it's best left in mystery. But that being said, 2011's The Thing. As much as I wanted to like this movie, because I am a huge fan of John Carpenter's The Thing, it is my favorite horror movie of all time. It's my favorite John Carpenter movie of all time. It's my favorite Kurt Russell movie of all time. My excitement for this 2011 prequel was through the roof. I was so excited. I wanted to see what kind of cool creature designs they did. I wanted to experience that tension again. I wanted to experience that sense of dread again, and I got none of it. The creature designs in this film are just kind of there. I don't know. Nothing really stands out. So if you are a fan of 82's The Thing and you have not watched 2011's The Thing, don't watch it. Don't watch it at all. If you're a fan of movies, just skip it. Don't watch it. That's all I got on 2011's The Thing. Thanks for watching. See you next time.